Champ, 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 champ.
Perfect, perfect, perfect,
champ, champ.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one to stop me. Lynx, conqueror, no, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me.
All right, big brother, man, let the world know who we speaking to right now.
This the one and only Larry Love out here in the South End of Hartford, man. Franklin Avenue, Shelter's Place, you know, chatting with Champ. Really happy to be here, brother.
All right, big brother, man, let the world know who we speaking to right now.
This the one and only Larry Love out here in the South End of Hartford, man. Franklin Avenue, Shelter's Place, you know, chatting with Champ. Really happy to be here, brother. Yeah, so maybe at 13, 14 years old, KJ, and during that time in the 90s, man, I would say, you know, this is the peak of the gang beef out here in Hartford, right? So you had the Sours and the Kings and the Dogs, definitely at the peak of the gang time. So I had to kind of figure out life out here on the grind. Had a little team out here too. So we was out here just, we 13, 14, we kids out here, but we definitely in the middle of all that was going on during that time for sure. So I was in Rawson first, right? Lived over there in the Blue Hills Avenue area at first. I was there from kindergarten to about second grade. Then I was in East Hartford for a little while. I was at a school I think called Langford. Langford's in East Hartford. I was there from my, I was about third grade to about sixth grade. Moved to Hartford. I was in Burr Middle, and then the Buckley High School, and I'm here now. Yeah. So I've always loved the city, man. It's a great mixture of just a little bit of everybody out here. You got every race. I was in school with Russians, Polish kids, Black, Latinos, Haitians. You know what I mean? So the South End of Hartford, man. It probably seems like it's a Latin-based community out here, man. But it was a mixture out here. You know what I mean? But to be truthful, I was like one of the only black brothers out here who was out here mixing around out here. So, but during that time, all I had knew was the Franklin Avenue parade. You know what I mean? The icy houses. That's what I recall, man. Just love, energy. The hood. Violence is was definitely out here too. But it was a good mixture of just love, peace, and a little bit of gunfight here and there. Definitely. So, started with the Borges family. That's my son's family. So that's Kathy, Stephanie, Tito, Nancy. Bill, Jimmy, Goya. They had a house right here on the corner. Right, actually, the house right here. That's where they lived at. So yeah. So that's one. I would say the Bowen family. They had the house right here behind me over here in the corner, Franklin Avenue. Our Medina family, yeah, that's a few of them. So you think about 92, 93, man, when I first recognized what the gang life actually was, right? And there was some Solids and some Latin Kings that was all like one like big family. So it could be a Latin King right here and a Solid right here. They could be brothers, they could be cousins, whatever it is, right? So, you know, so I was seeing nothing but a bunch of love and joy out here, man. I mean, you know, that's what I saw. But then over like about a year or two, everything changed. And you had a huge beef happen. And so now you got like guys that's cousins and that's best friends and family, whatever it is. Not even beefing right now. Everybody knew where everybody was at, right? So Freaking Avenue being a mostly Latin King neighborhood, they were just being targeted out here pretty much. So you know, so you was out here walking around, you had the bees on, whatever it was, you know, they was getting jumped, they was getting shot at, they was shooting back, you know, and in my world, I'm in the middle of all that. That's a good question too, brother. So because at that time, I didn't have a choice but to kind of figure it out, because you was in the middle of you know, of the drugs and the violence and the beef that was going on. 13 years old, having a kid, you know what I mean? I had to kind of figure out life, so I started hustling myself. And then with that, you know, brings you having to kind of keep yourself safe. The rest of you got the game going on, you got the drugs going on, and in turn, I ended up kind of getting involved with the lifestyle myself. So carrying a gun every day, selling drugs on this block right here, hustling every day pretty much, you know, and navigating between all the game beef that was going on. So what ended up happening was they had probably about 6 or 8 of us out here who ended up building a group, so to speak, right? So and it was about 8 of us out here saying, hey, you know what, this our block, this our family, I'm gonna hold you down, you gonna hold me down. That's what it came down to. Yeah, so being out here hustling during that time, in between the gang wars, and you had the Latin Kings that was kind of maintaining their block and their territory out here. I had an incident where their high ups had called on me and said to me pretty much that to hustle out here, I had to pay dues. And this was the first time I've ever heard that in my life, because I was out here hustling, you know, for about a year ago, you know, 2 years straight, whatever. And so me having to pay dues wasn't something I knew about or something I was willing to go out there and do. And at that time, I knew that things had changed to where now I'm out here getting money, I'm known out here now, and I had to get ready to take on whatever came with that. So at that point in time, I knew that life had changed for me, and I had to be ready to deal with whatever had came with that. Yeah, that's a great question for sure, though. So because looking at the person I was in the '90s, right? You know, just really not knowing nothing about anything that was positive, I would say, right? You know, I had family and friends, man, but most of it was all about just being able to get, you know, be outside, make some money, make a living, have some fun, get some females, right? And then make it home safe, right? In between that, I didn't really know much else other than that, though. So with that came, you know, me having to kind of figure out how to maintain amongst all that was going on, which was guns and violence and drugs and so forth. So the residue that I would say that's left now is the residue of like pain and trauma that was already there already, and the pain that we actually kind of added on to, right? I've seen brothers get killed out here, you know, right in front of me, and I'm 15 years old watching a dude's brain get blown out, and that's something that you can't unsee, right? So whatever that did to me as a 15-year-old kid caused me to do some things I probably shouldn't have, you know, done, right? But that's the rest of it right there. So now I'm out here now trying to do all I can to get this stuff cleaned up, because it is messy. It's a messy ass film, right? That shit sticky as hell, right? So getting out here now, I've been trying to do all I can to physically pick up trash and meet these kids, but you know, to clean up all that mess that was out here for sure. So definitely want to say Chattin was a hood. You had no, you know who was over there, where you was at. Rice Height, same thing. You know, Ville, right? Chappelle Garden, Broad Street, Elliott, Shelters. And obviously, you know, you had your Albany Avenue still, you know, Bedford going on, Bedford Model was always something, you know, popping over there. But yeah, that's the main blocks, I would say. You know, None Court was heavy, definitely. So I would say probably about 2% of the people that's in those neighborhoods and 2% of the actual blocks. Maybe even less than that is the amount of people that's like causing most of the pain in the city, right? So it's probably 90% of everybody out there that's loving, you know what I mean, great households, nice meal being served, you know, daily in there. But it's that 2%, you know what I mean, that's probably making that whole neighborhood seem and sound bad, you know what I mean? So Lincoln Avenue, you know, there was folks out here who lived here for years, right? You know, mothers out here getting out here, you know, working every day. Kids out here in school, but then it was like a group like mine who was out here, you know, serving drugs and shooting guns. But it was only a few of us in that whole environment, though. So definitely.
We got the ice cold brother they call Larry Love, and if you're confused about what he does, he just
Larry Love, man. So you know, hip hop is a part of my life, my DNA, man. Always loved the whole, you know, the culture of hip hop, man, the breaking, the rapping, the beatboxing, tagging, you know what I mean? So years ago they had a song called, it was Larry Love, it was this stuff, you know what I mean? So yeah, and it's weird because like love, it just fits, man. So yeah, so it just, you know, it's what it is. So my father's name is Juice, my mother's name is Sugar. How I had gotten the game of hustling was my mother and father was like the biggest hustlers out here in Hartford, right? And this is a little tricky to tell the story, but so they used to hustle, right? And they had their little packs in the house, whatever it was. And now dig in their packs a little bit, right? And take a little bit out of their packs. So let's say they had 100 of drugs in a pack, right? I take about 10 out, boom. So you know they got 90 now. I got 10. So after they get all done with this shit, I sell my little dime, right? So mind you now, it could be 1,000 dimes in the drawer, right? And I open up all the dimes, take a little bit out of all the dimes, and make my own little pack. I began hustling that way, man. So thinking about the people that was there, it was just me watching my family, right? Watching them be, you know, be who they were, and like they were the fiends out here and everything else. So I had to learn about kind of watching them. But to tell you the truth, man, I didn't really have anybody, you know, that I was looking up to at that time to say that I was able to kind of watch them to kind of learn how to hustle from them. But no, it was just me watching mom and dad pretty much. Right? Yeah, so I was out here from, let's say, 93 to 98, 99, just deeply invested into the street life. I left Buckley in 97. After that, I started kind of serving the neighborhood guys. I would say for the next like 10, 15 years, I was just out here navigating the hood as best I could. But I always had a gut feeling where it's like I could do more, I could do better. I ended up going to a liquor store in 2009, right? And I was running the store for about 7-8 years, but as I was there, I had a brother of mine come in and say to me, have I ever done something good for the city, right? He was being kind of slick about it, but he asked me a question about just if I ever did something that was good for the city of Hartford. And I had thought about it, and I had realized, damn, since I was 13 years old, I've had my hand in something that was poisonous into my community, right? So since a baby damn near, I'm out here selling drugs, right? Pushing violence, and then as a way out of that, I had liquor store. So it's like, so you thinking that it was legal, but the truth is though, I was still pushing out poison out still, right? So that sparked me to say, damn, love, like what you gonna do that's different, that's better for the city of Hartford. So I ended up coaching for a little while. Did that for like about 2 years, and it was then I had learned that how many kids in our city didn't really have a good person to go to if they were hungry, if they were scared, whatever it was. So it was at that time I realized, oh shit, like I could do something else. You know, so early on in this work, I was doing it out of guilt, pretty much. You know, like I felt like I had done so much wrong in the city of Hartford that I could do something that was different. And then recently, I'll say the past 5 years, I had like realized that there was a lot of pain that I was holding on to, that I had to deal with. And learning about that pain helped me understand that, listen here, man, like I ain't gotta fill no void. I can't go change all I've done. I had to say, all right, well, are you safe first? And in that journey of healing, watching myself heal, I began to realize that, damn, okay, so the math is that if I was hurt and all I knew was hurt and pain, I'm hurting everybody that's around me, right? If I'm healthier and safer and I'm healing, I can help you heal, you can help him heal, and so forth. So instead of looking at it as a void being filled, I would say, it's a great feeling, man, of like being able to say that I'm learning how to heal, and through that healing, helping others learn how to heal too.
Jamie on the beat, boy.
So I've been through a lot, you know what I mean? A lot of pain. I've caused pain. And I had, you know, it's the book right here. It's The Healing Culture, right? And in this book, I'm telling you a story about all the pain I've been exposed to, and some of that pain is probably gonna be a scar of my life forever. You know what I mean? So I can't say I've healed. I can say I'm learning how to heal better. I do feel better today, right? But those are deep scars. Took a long time to really get there. I mean, talking about pain of hurting the family, losing loved ones, they getting killed. You know, that's some deep pain that's there. You know what I mean? So, you know, but I would say that I'm a better person and a more healed person today than I was, let's say, about 10 years ago. As I was going through my life, man, forever, there's always been a bright spot in my life that I would see, whether it be in school, whether it be on the block, neighborhoods, you know, family, friends, whatever it was. There was always somebody who would see the good in me, even if I didn't feel good about myself. They would see the good in me, and it was always, you know, helping me out, just dealing with all the facts of life during that time. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say, man, one, you know, find that safe person that you have in your life, right? And it'll be somebody, man, who just always got something good to say to you. You know what I mean? Something that's helpful, healthy. You know what I mean? And when you can find that person or that place, man, hold on to it. And I was able to get here through friends and family that I've had, as I was causing pain, and I was out here, being a tear out here. I had folks out here who were still loving me, man. You know what I mean? Still helping me out. You know what I mean? And not judging me. You know what I mean? So looking back now, I've had some key folks in my life, my world, man, that you know, that I know to this day, man, that I'm here today, I would say, and I'm who I am today because of them. So that's my family, my friends, brothers like you, Ty. Just kind of meeting y'all on this journey, man. Definitely, you know, it's my reason for sure. So I would definitely say start healing, right? Figure out how to heal. What does that mean to you? And it could mean different for everybody, right? So, you know, me healing meant just getting up in the morning time and just taking some deep breaths, right? Learning how to kind of manage myself. And then I would say that once you learn how to heal, do what you can to help others heal, right? So finding folks out here that's obviously hurting and that's in pain, and offer them tips and tools on how to heal. You know what I mean? I think the core to it right now is that you know, there's like pain all over our city, right? And nobody can really pinpoint what that pain is, right? Like, is it a loss of parent? Is it a loss of a child, right? Is it drug abuse, alcohol abuse, right? Yeah, so it's impossible to pinpoint where that pain is at. But if we can look at it as everyone you see has some kind of pain, right, that they gotta hold on to, and just recognize that part of it and do what you can to help them begin how to learn how to heal. That's a good start. Listen, man, I could be here for the next 2 days. I mean, starting on Elliott Street, man, we had brothers like, you know, Richo, Danny, Cholo, Debbie, niggas on my block, you know, Will, Julian, LeVar, Sight, Kid, Cousin Vaughn, Freak, my older brother Black, Tito, Stephanie, Kathy, Nancy, 1-2 from the North End. Quick little story, man. So I'm in the club in the anyway, so we had a club one day, right? And I used to have the rosary beads on, the beads that was all the best beads, right? So we had different colors, you know what I mean? You know, blue, brown, black, green, like it was all mixed up colors in this shit, right? So I'm hanging out, probably like 16 years old, but I end up in the club, right? And all of a sudden, I get surrounded. It's probably I mean, like 200 motherfuckers around me, right? And I got the bees on. I think it's over, right? See little nigga come out the crowd. No, that's my nigga right there. That's da-da-da. 1-2, man. 1-2. God bless you, brother. Bless your soul, man. I could have been stomped out and killed in that motherfucker, and you held me down, brother. Yeah. Shout out to 1-2, man. The journey, right? So this right here is it's an album, right? And this album was taken right here on the block. The album cover taken on the block, right? So it's the Late Night Stranger Show Power album. This album is a 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid that was able to describe his pain and his story through that lens, right? And during that time, there's sex, there's violence, there's drugs, and this album right here is a definite classic that I put together, man. Looking at the journey, right? So you know, this is a dope album, right? But it's so much pain in the album, and so now we got a book called The Healing Culture. And it's so crazy because, like, thinking about where I was at 18, 19 years old, and then where I'm at now. There's a dope story that's there, right? And in this book right here, it's actually a journey of taking a peek into what trauma looked like and what pain looked like in the kid that's growing up trying to figure life out. Thankfully, I was able to get to a place where I could survive, violence and beef and drugs and everything else. After I got shot, I had to realize that damn, okay, well, there's a lot more that I gotta do still, right? So at that time, I began to say, all right, well, if I didn't make it at that time, right? I was 33 years old. If I didn't make it at that time, I was like, damn, what did I leave behind that I should have been doing? So now, after that, this book here now shows you how I got through that pain. And anybody that's out here now that's having a hustle in life, man, get this book, read this book. Hey, how you doing, brother? It's gonna help you learn how to heal. And it's an awesome story in here, man, about life and pain, man. How do you heal from that pain? So yeah, the healing culture. It should be out soon too. So, there ain't many brothers out here that I think that can go in any corner of the city, right, and highlight that neighborhood, that block, that street, that house, the way you do, Ty. Chatting with Champ, I think, is that's needed right now to be able to help tell the story of the people of the city. It ain't all work, right? Hartford has some bad days, but there's some beauty in Hartford right now, and you're watching the product of somebody that's been through the dirt of the city and now doing all I can to do better. And they won't hear this story without you, man. So chat with Champ, man. God bless you, brother. Let's keep on rocking and tell the story the way where at some point in time, folks will say, damn, Hartford is though. I love Hartford, man. So yeah, so let's go ahead and tell that story, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, here to rock the motherland, the summit of all electronic dancers, along with the Grandmaster Flash is here with you tonight. And if you want to party, get up, clap your hands, while we do it for you, something like this. Call Larry Love, and if you're confused